Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss some practice papers or practice test for your objective type examination, multiple choice questions. So we have already discussed a chapter on Riccia, life history of Riccia, life cycle of Riccia we have studied. So on that chapter, what type of objective type questions, multiple choice questions are expected in your examination that we are going to discuss today. So we'll begin with that. Multiple choice questions on Riccia. So first question is, which of the following is an aquatic species of Riccia? So options are given: Riccia fausti, Riccia flutans, Riccia discolor, Riccia crystallina. So in this chapter, we studied that there are many species which are worldwide in distribution, 138 species, of which 30 species are found in India, like Riccia discolor, which is also called as Riccia himalayensis, Riccia crystallina, Riccia cruciata, Riccia gangetica, Riccia reticulata, Riccia melanospora. So many species are there, but all these species except one, that is Riccia flutans, are terrestrial. That means Riccia flutans is an aquatic species, whereas all other species of Riccia are terrestrial species. So here the answer or the correct option here will be option B. As you can see, option B, Riccia flutans is the aquatic species of Riccia. Okay, let's move to second question. The vegetative plant body of Riccia is called as gametophyte, sporophyte, both of these or none of these. We know the vegetative plant body in Bryophyta is called as gametophyte. Now, why it is called as gametophyte, that we have discussed. So here Riccia is a gametophyte, Riccia is a bryophyte, so its vegetative plant body is called as gametophyte. So the correct option is option A. Okay. Okay, next question. Which of the following is not true about the plant body or thallus of Riccia? Okay, options are: it's a sexual plant body, it's haploid plant body, it's gamete producing plant body, it's aerial, erect, upright plant body. So as you can see here, all these three characters show that plant body of Riccia, why it is called as gametophyte? Because it is a gamete producing plant body. It bears gametangia, two types of gametangia, male gametangium called Antheridium and female gametangium called Archegonium. These gametangia are directly present on the plant body that produce gametes. So it is gamete producing plant body. Therefore, it is sexual plant body. And cytologically, it is haploid plant body. Each and every cell in the plant consists of single set of chromosome. So all these characters are showing that plant body of Riccia is gametophyte. Only this is not matching the list, because the plant body of Riccia is not aerial, erect, upright as in case of ferns or higher bryophytes, but it is, we studied that it is prostrate, dorsiventrally flattened, flat, fleshy, dichotomously branched plant body. So this option is not matching. So here not is asked. So the correct option will be option D. Okay, next one. The plant body of Riccia thallus shows lateral branching, dichotomous branch. We studied that. This is the characteristic feature of Riccia plant. It shows dichotomous branching. That means from a single branch at a time, two branches are produced, and each of these two branches, they again give rise to two branches at a time. And this type of branching is called as dichotomous branching, as opposed to the lateral branching in which a single branch is produced at a time. So the answer here would be option B. Okay. Okay. Next question. Which of the following structures are not present on the dorsal surface of the plant body or thallus of Riccia? We have studied that plant body of Riccia is branched or it is lobed, and each branch is called as the lobe. And if we study the structure of this lobe on the dorsal surface and ventral surface, it gives the idea of the entire plant body. Morphology or external structure of the entire plant body of Riccia is visible from that lobe. So in that we studied that which structures are present on the dorsal surface of the plant body. Okay, median groove, it is dorsal, it is also called as dorsal groove, or it is the median longitudinal groove that is present on the dorsal surface. Sex organs are present on the dorsal surface in the midrib region, and externally they look like dark spots. They look like dark spots. Apical cell is present on the dorsal surface at the end of each lobe, protected by scales. Here, rhizoids and scales. These are characteristic of Riccia plant, but these are present on the ventral surface of plant body. So here the answer will be option D. Okay. The next question. The rhizoids in Riccia thallus are unicellular, unbranched, branched, multicellular, unbranched, branched. We have studied that there are rhizoids and scales on the ventral surface of Riccia plant. Rhizoids are unicellular, unbranched, whereas scales are branched but ligulate structure. So option here will be A is the correct answer, correct option. Okay. Next question. The scales in Riccia thallus are again here unicellular, multicellular, ligulate, appendiculate. So we know rhizoids are unicellular and scales are ventral multicellular structures which are present peripherally, and these are multicellular but ligulate. They are without any appendage. They are not branched. So multicellular and ligulate scales are the characteristic feature. So here the answer will be option C. Okay. Next question. The rhizoids in Riccia thallus are again smooth-walled, tuberculate, both of these, none of these we have studied. Rhizoids are root-like structure, hair-like structures which are present on the ventral surface. They are of both types, smooth-walled rhizoids and tuberculate rhizoids. This is characteristic feature of Riccia, in which in addition to smooth-walled, there are some tuberculate rhizoids which produce tubercles, peg-like structures inside the lumen or cavity that help in absorption of water and minerals by capillary reaction. So these are more efficient in absorption than smooth walled, and both of these rhizoids help in fixation as well as absorption of water and minerals from the soil. So both of these are present. So here the answer will be, correct answer will be option C. Answer is option C. Okay. Next one. The rhizoids and scales are absent in which of the following species of Riccia? Riccia frosti, Riccia flutans, Riccia discolor, also called as Riccia himalayensis. This is xerophytic species of Riccia. Riccia flutans is we studied. This is the characteristic aquatic species of Riccia, only the aquatic species in Riccia. And another character is that there is no need of rhizoids and scales in this aquatic species of Riccia, and therefore rhizoids and scales are absent. So here the answer is option B. Correct answer is option B. Okay. The rhizoids in Riccia thallus are unicellular, central, peripheral, multicellular, central, peripheral. We studied. Rhizoids and scales are present on the ventral surface. Rhizoids are unicellular and scales are multicellular, violet structures due to presence of anthocyanin pigment. The rhizoids are present on at the center, whereas scales are present at the periphery. So here option will be unicellular plus central in position on the ventral surface of thallus. So that is the correct option, option A. Okay. Next one. The scales in Riccia thallus, Riccia plant body are again the same options, but the answer will be of course different. Scales are multicellular and peripheral, marginal in position. Scales are multicellular, ligulate. They are present at the periphery on the ventral surface, whereas the scales are crowded near the apex at the apical region to protect the apical cell, which is present in the apical notch. That is the meristematic cell. It has to be protected. So here the correct option will be option D. That is the answer. Okay. Next one. The function of rhizoids in Riccia thallus is, what is the function? It is a root-like structure, hair-like structure, unicellular, unbranched structure, help in fixation of the Riccia plant to the substratum of soil, as well as they help in absorption of water as well as minerals dissolved in water from the soil. So both of these are the functions though. So answer here is option C. Okay. Next one. The function of scales in Riccia thallus. You are very well aware that fixation and absorption, these are the functions of rhizoids. So obviously protection of Riccia plant body, as well as it helps the plant it avoids desiccation of the plant body. So here the correct option is answer is option D. Okay. Next one. The stored food material or reserve food material that is present in the ventral region of Riccia thallus that we studied. There are two distinct regions, upper or dorsal photosynthetic region and the lower or ventral storage region, that is parenchymatous region. And here food material is present in the ventral storage region, and that food material is in the form of, we studied, no pectin, inulin, or glycogen. The food material is in the form of starch. So here the answer is option D. Okay. Next is, which of the following species of Riccia reproduce vegetatively by persistent apices? There are different methods of vegetative reproduction that we study: fragmentation by means of persistent apices, tuber formation, then adventitious branches by means of some rhizoids, and different species show different methods. Fragmentation is the most common method shown by most of the species. So here the question is asked regarding persistent apices, the apices which remain persistent even in the unfavorable, even under unfavorable conditions. We studied that the apices, the whole plant body dries up and died except the apical region, which remain persistent. It grows deep into the soil during unfavorable conditions, and when the conditions become favorable, as in case of rainy season, these persistent apices come above the soil surface. They absorb water, moisture, and they again become active. They become alive, and that is the reason why Riccia plant body is called as a resurrection plant. Resurrection plant. So, which is that species which reproduce by persistent apices method? Here, the species is Riccia discolor, which is also called as Riccia himalayensis. And the characteristic feature of this species is that it is a xerophytic species found in dry region. So this species reproduces by persistent apices method of vegetative reproduction. So here the option C is the correct answer. Okay. Next one is, which of the following species of Riccia reproduce vegetatively by adventitious branches? Same question, but adventitious branches method is asked. Here we know Riccia frutans, which is an aquatic species, it produces adventitious branches from its ventral surface, and these branches get detached and they grow independently into a new plant body due to some meristematic cells present at the apical region. So here the answer is option B. That is the correct answer. Similarly, rhizoids are also the structures used in vegetative reproduction. Riccia glauca is the example. Next one is sexual reproduction in Riccia is isogamous, anisogamous, oogamous. What type of sexual reproduction? We studied there are different types of sexual reproduction. Isogamous, the most primitive, in which the gametes are very similar. We cannot differentiate between the fusing gametes. Anisogamous is quite advanced, and oogamous is the most advanced type of sexual reproduction in which fusing gametes as well as gametangia in which gametes are present, they are easily identifiable. We can distinguish, we can differentiate between male gametangium and female gametangium. Very well modified, specialized structure here. So the sexual reproduction in Riccia is oogamous type. So the answer is C. Option C is the correct answer. Okay. Next question. Which of the following is a dioecious species or unisexual plants, heterothallic plants, that is sex organs, male sex organ and female sex organ are present on two separate plants, different plants. Such a species are called as unisexual plant, dioecious species. In Riccia, both the types, that is dioecious and monoecious species are found, unlike Mercantia, which is strictly dioecious. And that is also the characteristic feature of Riccia. That is, in Riccia you can find both monoecious and dioecious form. So here the question is, which of the following is dioecious species of Riccia? So in Riccia, there are many species like Riccia crystallina, Riccia glauca, Riccia gangetica, or Riccia melanospora. All these species are monoecious, except this one, Riccia discolor or Riccia himalayensis, which is dioecious species. So here the answer is option C. That is the correct answer. Okay. Next one. Which of the following is a monoecious species? Okay. Just now we have seen Riccia discolor, Riccia frosti, Riccia personi. These are dioecious species. Just now I told Riccia melanospora is also monoecious species. So here the answer is Answer is option B, Riccia melanospora, which is monoecious species. Otherwise, all these three species, Riccia discolor, Riccia prosti, Riccia personi, these are dioecious species. So this is the only monoecious species here. Okay, next question. The female sex organ in Riccia is called as oogonium, ascogonium, archegonium. This question is usually asked. Okay, oogonium is a female sex organ found in case of lower cryptogams like algae and fungi. In some higher fungi, ascogonium is also female sex organ. But strictly in case of bryophytes and pteridophytes, the female sex organ is archegonium, and therefore these two are also called as archegoniate. So female sex organ in Riccia is archegonium, as it is a member of Bryophyta. So the answer here is option C. Okay. Next one. The Antheridium of Riccia is a multicellular, ovoid, spherical, flask-shaped, or none of these. What type of shape Riccia Antheridium has? We studied that Antheridium is a male, gametangium, male sex organ, which is multicellular with a sterile layer of jacket cell. It is ovoid or pear-shaped or club-shaped structure. So here answer is option A. Okay. The archegonium in Riccia is a multicellular. It is flask-shaped structure. So answer C is the correct option. That is the shape of archegonium, female sex organ or female gametangium of Riccia. We have studied that it is a multicellular flask-shaped structure with neck and venter. Neck consists of neck canal cells, venter consists of venter canal cell and egg cell, and the entire archegonium is surrounded by the jacket layer of sterile cell. That is the characteristic feature of higher cryptogams. Okay, this is an interesting question. If there are 8 androcyte mother cells in Antheridium, how many spores would be produced from these 8 androcyte mother cells? Okay, so options are given: 8, 16, 24, 32. Now try to understand. The Antheridium male gametangium or male sex organ consists of androgonial cells. The last generation of these cells are called as androcyte mother cells. Now, each androcyte mother cell, it divides diagonally to produce 2 triangular androcytes, because these are androcyte mother cells. So each androcyte mother cells produces 2 androcytes, and this androcyte is also called as antherozoid mother cell. That is, it gives rise to antherozoids or spermatozoids or simply sperm, male gametes. So from each androcyte mother cells, 2 androcytes are produced, and each androcyte then just metamorphoses. There is no further cell division, but it metamorphoses into the sperm, a spirally coiled biflagellate structure. So from 8, 16 cells will be produced, and all these 16 cells will form 16 antherozoids. So here the answer is option B, 16. That is the correct answer. Okay, next one. The antherozoids, also called as sperms or spermatozoids, male gametes of Riccia, are uniflagellate, biflagellate, quadriflagellate, oflagellate. The correct answer is B, biflagellate structure, because these are having 2 flagella, similar flagella, and that is the characteristic feature of Bryophyte, biflagellate. Usually bryophytes are biflagellate, whereas pteridophytes are multiflagellate, having multiflagellate sperms. The neck of archegonium consists of how many neck canal cells? The correct answer is 4. It consists of 4 neck canal cells. Riccia is a bryophyte as it grows in moist, shady places for effective. What is the reason why it grows in moist and shady places? For effective photosynthesis, transpiration, respiration, or fertilization? The answer is fertilization. Water is essential for fertilization. Moisture is essential for fertilization. If there is no water available, then there will be no fertilization. The life cycle would not be completed in case of bryophyte plant, and that is the reason why bryophyte plants are called as amphibian or amphibious plants or amphibians of plant kingdom. So here answer is D, option D, fertilization. Next is the sporophyte of Riccia consists of, okay, only foot, seta, only capsule, or consist of all foot, seta, and capsule. We studied in case of bryophyte, sporophyte, foot, seta, and capsule are the structures which are found. But the characteristic feature of Riccia sporophyte is that it consists of only capsule, only sporogonium, only spore bag, spore sac is present. Foot and seta are totally absent. And absence of foot and seta, presence of only capsule is the characteristic feature of this family also. Family Riccia has this characteristic. We can distinguish family Ricciaceae from family Mercantiaceae on this character. So here the answer is C, option C. Okay. The archisporium, that is the first cell generation of sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue means the tissue from which sporogenous cells or spore producing cells are produced in capsule. So this tissue, archisporium in Riccia, develops from which part of the embryo, whether it is endothecium or amphithecium or inner layer of amphithecium or outer layer of endothecium. Now we studied in case of different classes of Bryophyta like Hepatic or Hepaticopsida. Archisporium develops from endothecium. In your Antheridium second class, it develops from inner layer of amphithecium. In the class number 3, Meiosis, Bryopsida, it develops from the outer endothecium layer because the inner layer of endothecium develops into a sterile structure that is called as columella. And this columella is present in both Antheridium and Meiosis, but it is present in Hepaticopsida, it is present in Riccia because the entire endothecium forms the fertile structure. There is absence of sterile structure called columella. So here the archisporium develops from endothecium. So this is the correct answer, option A. Okay, the calyptra in Riccia is it's haploid, diploid, triploid, or tetraploid. What is the ploid of calyptra? Answer is A, because it is haploid because it is a gametophytic tissue. Gametophytes are haploid, sporophytes are diploid. Calyptra is gametophyte because during the development of zygote into embryo and then into sporophyte, this calyptra is developed as a protective layer around this embryo, and this calyptra is nothing but the extension of venter of the archegonium. And archegonium is haploid, venter is haploid. So calyptra is venter part, so it is haploid. Okay. Which of the following the first cell of gametophyte generation? Gamete, spore. The spore is the first cell of gametophyte generation because it germinates and develops into gametophyte. Spore is haploid, gametophyte is haploid. So it is the first cell, which is the haploid cell, and it develops into multicellular haploid structure or plant part, and that is called as the gametophyte. Whether it is a Bryophyta member or a Pteridophyta member, spore is always the first cell of gametophyte generation. So here the answer is B, option B. And which is the first cell of sporophyte generation? It is the oospore. Zygote is also called as oospore, the fertilized egg. This is the first cell of sporophyte because it is a diploid structure. It is the first diploid cell, which is unicellular, uninucleate, diploid. It develops by several mitotic cell divisions into a multicellular structure, and that is called as sporophyte. Sporophyte is a diploid structure. So again, whether it is Bryophyta or Pteridophyta, zygote or oospore is the first cell of sporophyte generation. So here the answer is option C. Okay. Then the gametophytic phase of Riccia ends with which of the following cells? Okay. Gametophyte ends where? The gametophyte ends at the event called as fertilization. So when fertilization takes place, gametophyte phase ends and sporophyte phase starts. So it takes place in gametes because fertilization occurs in gametes, male and female gametes. So answer is A. Okay. The sporophyte phase ends with which of the following cells? The sporophyte phase ends when there is one event in the life cycle, and that is called as meiosis, reduction division. And reduction division takes place here in case of Riccia in spore mother cell, from which haploid spores are produced from each diploid spore mother cell. So answer here is option D. Okay. So where meiosis takes place in Riccia, it takes place in spore mother cells. Again, option is D. Then meiosis occurs during formation of what? It occurs during formation of spores. It takes place in spore mother cells, but it occurs during formation of spores. So here the answer changes, though the event remains same. Here answer is option B. Okay. In Riccia, meiosis takes place in which part of the plant? Antheridium, archegonium, capsule. So we studied that capsule is the part of a sporophyte, that is the spore bag or spore sac in which spore mother cells are present, and in these spore mother cells meiosis takes place that gives rise to a tetrad of spore, haploid spores. So here answer is option C. Then dehiscence of capsule. for the dispersal of spore in Riccia occurs by what method? Regular or irregular method, like capsule explosion, pressure of elaters, regular walls, or death and decay of thallus. So in case of Riccia thallus, there is no specialized method for dispersal of spores. It is very irregular, and usually it takes place after the disintegration of the capsule wall and after the death and decay of the entire thallus, so that all the spores are released outside. So here answer is option D. That is the correct answer. Okay. The exine of spore in Riccia is made up of what structure? Pectocellulose, chitin, sporopollenin. So here answer is sporopollenin. Exine is made up of sporopollenin. Entine is made up of pectocellulosic substances. This is very resistant protein, and it gives resistance to the spores of Riccia, so that they can remain viable for a longer period of time. So here answer is option C. The next one is genus Riccia belongs to which of the following classes of Bryophyta? There are three classes: Hepaticopsida, Anthoceratopsida, Bryopsida. We know it is a member of, it is very primitive plant. It belongs to the first class, that is Hepatici or Hepaticopsida, also called as liverworts, because the shape of most of the plants, including Riccia, it is like the liver of animals, liver of human beings. And this is called as doctrine of signature. That is the plants or plant parts resemble the structure of some animal organs. And there is belief, that is older belief, that if the plant structures of plant parts are having the resemblance of animal plants, then that can be used in those diseases. So here, as Riccia or Hepaticopsida are liverworts, having liver-like structure and shape, so they can be used to treat the liver ailments, liver diseases in animals. So that is one faith, but it is nowadays called as pseudoscience. So here the correct answer is A, option A, Hepaticopsida. Okay. The last one, the genus Riccia belongs to Bryophyta because of what? I mean, there are many characters. Presence of multicellular sex organs, sterile layer of jacket cells in sex organs, presence of embryo stage in life cycle. So all these three characters are the characters of higher cryptogams that include both Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. But this character is important. That's why Riccia belongs to Bryophyta. Dependence of Sporophyte on Gametophyte. Here, in case of Bryophyta, Gametophyte is long-lived, independent, autotrophic phase in the life cycle, and the Sporophyte is completely dependent on Gametophyte. So here option is D. Correct option is D. That is in case of Riccia. So these are some of the references: Smith book, Vegetative book, Sharma IQ Objective. This is very good book. And of course, some internet resources are there from where you can find this type of objective questions, multiple choice questions, which are necessary for your coming examination. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, any difficulty regarding this or anything else other than this from Riccia, then you can have my email is given there in the very first slide. You can contact me. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.